Hello everyone, in this session of Python programming, we are going to learn about data types in Python. Let's begin with it. Now, first of all, we should understand what are data types. Data types are used to identify the type of data which can be obviously stored in a particular variable and the set of valid operations which can be performed on that particular data. So in Python we have mainly 5 types of data types like number, string, list, tuple and dictionary, right? So if we talk about numbers are the data types offered by Python to store and process different type of numeric data, right? So there are 3 kind of numbers like integers. In integer we have signed integer and Boolean, and another one is floating point number, and then complex numbers. If we talk about integers are symbolized by int, means the keyword used in Python for integers is int. Int can store integer whether it is signed or unsigned. Signed means it can be positive or negative. Unsigned means it is always positive. It can be big or small, like in other programming, like in C++, we see like short int, long int, like that. But here we have a single int type of data type which can store small as well as big number, right? So next is the Boolean. Boolean is simply true or false value. That's as per the Boolean algebra. So true is for 1 and false is for 0. And you always remember this thing that in true and false, T and F are capital, as Python is a case sensitive language. Right. We're going to talk about an example of integer data type. Like here is a Python shell in which we have assigned 10, which is an integer, to a number x. Here we don't have to declare, but we just assign, and after that we print the value of x. It turns out to be 10. Now if we check the type of x, type means the data type, so it will return us like it belongs to the class int, which is integer. Similarly, we see the example of Boolean expressions. Like if we have an expression like 5 is more than 10, obviously it's a false expression. So the false value will be stored in A, assigned to A. When we print A, it will give us false. Similarly, 5 is less than 10. It is the expression and it returns a true value, which will be stored in B. And if we print B, it will give us true. So it is working like that. Now we talk about the floating point number. Floating point number, for them the keyword is float, and it represents the double precision floating point numbers, like up to 15 digit precision. It's a big number. So in Python we don't have any double and all, or long double. We have float only to store small as well as big real numbers, actually the numbers which contains a decimal point. So if we see an example like x is equal to 12.34, it is stored in this x. We print the value of x and we check the type of x. It belongs to class float. So now we talk about the complex number. Python represents complex number in the form a plus b j, where a and b are real numbers. Real numbers means float numbers, and where j is actually, in mathematical terms, it is called iota, which is equal to under root minus 1, which is an imaginary number. So real and imaginary parts are internally represented as a pair of floating point numbers. So inside basically a and b are float. So a is a real part of this complex numbers, that is equal to a plus bj, and bj is the imaginary part. With bj is imaginary because of j, because j is equal to iota, which is under the root minus 1. Right. If we see an example of complex number, like we have assigned a complex number 5 plus 4j to x, and we printed the real part of x and imaginary part of x. This is the parameters. So it gives us a pair of floating point numbers like 5.0, 4.0. We gave 5, but inside it is stored as floating point number 5.0. Right. Similarly, y 2 minus 2j, real and imaginary, it is showing that minus 2.0 and 2. So when we add these two numbers, x plus y, and assign them to z, and we print the z, it gives the addition. How the addition is performed? The real part is added to real, whereas the imaginary part is added or subtracted from imaginary part, right? If we want to know the data type of z, that is, it belongs to complex class, right? So we have studied the numbers. So now in Python, numbers have like integer have unlimited range, Also, it is subjected to the virtual memory also, and Boolean is obviously a true or false only, and floating point number, the range is unlimited, and it depends upon the virtual memory as well as machine architecture. Similar with the complex number, because in complex number also, the real and imaginary part are actually represented as float, so it's similar to the float, right? So now after numbers, we are going to talk about strings. In Python, in any version of Python, like 3.x means 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.7, 8, everything. All strings are a sequence of pure Unicode characters. Now, Unicode characters, as you know, are a system designed to represent every character in every language. Like around the world, the number of language which comes under Unicode. Each character can be individually accessed using index. Index means the position of that number. So, a string can hold any known character like letter, number, special character, and in any known scripted language. If we see like A, B, C, D is in English, so it is within the double quotes, this makes a string. Some special characters within the quotes makes a string. Single quotes or double quote hardly matters. And numbers inside the quotes makes a string. Symbols, alpha, beta, gamma. Even Hindi script programming or in Punjabi programming, it is, and even in Chinese, means different scripts are being used because of the Unicode. They all come under string because they are enclosed in the double quotes, right? So if we see an example, like language is a string variable, it stores Python in it. We print the value of language, it's Python. And we want to know the data type of language, it's string str, right? So now the next data type is list, which is also a sequence or a group of comma separated values of any data type enclosed in square brackets. So brackets are square, 1, 2, 3, 4, comma separated value, or they can be mixed, like some integer, some float, some string, or maybe simply characters like vowels. Right, elements in this list can be individually accessed using its index. Index is actually position. So here is a list like A, E, I, O, U. I have taken this one, vowel list. So these are the index number of that list. Like A's index is 0, position is 0. For E it's 1, for I it's 2, so on up to 4. Means it starts from 0 to n minus 1 if there are n elements in the list. So here is an example. I've taken the same example like a list of vowels. Its name is A, so I printed A. It gives me a list of vowels, and then the type of A. It gives me, it's a class list type of data. Now, if I want to print the particular element of a list, like in the A list, I want to print the second element. Means second 2 is location when it is given inside this square bracket. So on 2, 0, 1, 2, it should be I. It is coming I. If 0th location, it's A. So that is how it works. It is accessible through indexes. Now we talk about tuples. So tuples in the Python is represented as a group of comma separated value of any data type, of course, enclosed within parentheses. Now parentheses are basically round braces. I have taken similar example, but in the tuple can be individually accessed with index. Index can be negative and positive. And see, like tuple is like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. These are the elements of the tuple. And if we see the positive index, 1 is at the 0th position, 2 is at the 1st position, 3 is at the 2nd position. Similarly, A is at the 3rd position, and so on up to 5. And if we talk about the negative index, as on the integer line, it starts from -1, -2. Like C is on the -1th position, D is on the -2th position. Let's see an example. Like in Python shell, if we type like tuple 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we print it, and we want to know its type, it's tuple, right? Tuple 2 is an empty tuple is also possible. So we have done that. We have kept it empty, and here it is giving us empty. Here is a mixed tuple, tuple 3, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Similar example which I mentioned earlier. So I just printed it. I want the 4th element of this tuple. So 4th is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's B. It's returning B. When I want -2th element of this, so this is C is at the -1, and B is again at the -2. So return me B. It's like that. So now we are going to talk about dictionary. Dictionary in Python is an unordered set of common separated key value pairs enclosed within the curly braces. The things to remember here is list is square brackets and your tuple is round braces, whereas dictionary are curly braces. There they were having values. Here is a key value pair. What's a key value pair? Let us understand this. Now it's a dictionary of vowels, like A is at number 1, E is at number 2, I is at number 3, it's like that. So where A, E, I, O, U, the first part are keys, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the second part is the values corresponding to the keys. So key value pair here is like A is a key and 1 is a value. So A1 is a key value pair. Right. So here is an example. We can have empty dictionary also, like we have empty tuples. Now 1 is associated with O and E, 2 is associated with 2, 3 is associated with 3. So 1, 2, 3 here are key, and 1 O N E, T W O, T H R W E is basically values. So if we print this, it will give as it is, but if we want to know its type, it's dictionary. If we want to access any particular value in this dictionary, we just have to specify its key. So what is the value which is corresponding to the key 2? It's TWO, so it's coming out. So it's like that. So now I want to sum up everything. Data type in Python, none is, as we know that it is all about empty data type. So we have already discussed it in the keyword section also. Otherwise, in numbers, it's integer, floating point, and complex. In sequences, string, tuple, and list. In mapping, where key value pair is there, it's dictionary. So you can refer these books for resources. Thanks, and feel free to ask any question.